I think that's probably true of many of you. And most of you are here to learn about the scholarship application procedure and also the courses we offer. And I can see that the Making Agribusiness Work course is the most popular, which is great because we have the course coordinator here in the room. So I'll quickly introduce my colleagues who are here. We've got Kees Peter, who's the coordinator of Making Agribusiness Work. Yeah, and Lonica, who works with me on communication, and Bianca and Helen, who are working on registration. Okay. So yeah, thanks for attending today. We just have a short presentation and then we will talk a bit about how to apply for a scholarship. And then we have plenty of time at the end for you to ask any questions and we'll try our best to answer them. Are you able to share the presentation, Monica?
Yes, I will. It would be helpful if everyone muted during the presentation. Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. Nice that you're all introducing yourself in the chat so we know who's in the room. Okay, so as Helen mentioned, maybe a couple of ground rules to keep everything smooth. And that is, first of all, to keep your microphone off when someone else is speaking. During the Q&A, you're welcome to turn it on and ask a question, but it just helps keep background noise to a minimum. It's also important to know that we will be recording this webinar, so feel free to have your camera on. It's nice to see your faces, but be aware that it will be recorded. And if you have any questions urgently during anyone's presentation, feel free to just write them in the chat and we will try to get back to you. So. Can we move to the next slide? Okay, so first we are going to introduce just a little bit about iCRA and then also about our courses. Next slide. So first of all, iCRA tries to build a community, a pool of agribusiness and agri-education professionals that are able to build trust and facilitate partnerships in agricultural development. And we do this through training, mentoring, and process facilitation. So today we'll talk to you more about the training that we offer. Next slide. So the courses that we're going to talk about today are the courses we run in English, which are available with a scholarship from NAFIC. Those are Making Agribusiness Work, Facilitation and Coaching, which will take place between February and June 2024. It's a blended learning course, so that means that there are weekly online modules and interactive live sessions, but there's also going to be a face-to-face training week in Kenya. The second is Making Education Work, which is a 2-week training in the Netherlands, completely face-to-face, and it will take place between the 15th and the 26th of April in 2024. And the third course that we run in English with scholarship is Making Training Work, which is around 1 month long from May 1st to the 24th, 2024. And it's also blended learning, so with online modules and interactive live sessions every week, and then also with 1 week face-to-face training in Kenya. So we also do offer Booster l'agribusiness in French, Booster l'éducation in French, and Booster la recherche in French. Also scholarship, but we'll focus on the English ones today because that's the language of this webinar. So the next slide. So just a bit of information about what is blended learning, which is an approach that we use in many of our courses. So every week you'll follow a 2-hour online Zoom session, and during the rest of the week you'll have access to our online learning platform, which is called Learning Stone. You can see a screenshot at the bottom of this page, and there you'll be able to work at your own pace through the modules and also be given assignments. But the face-to-face training will be live in person, and it will involve training sessions, networking opportunities, and also excursions to relevant institutes in the area. Okay, so first, we're going to show a video of each of the courses that we offer in English with a scholarship, starting with Making Agribusiness Work. So my colleague Case Pate is going to share the screen now.
Imagine you are an agribusiness advisor and next week you have a meeting with a company buying soybeans and processing them in different food products. You have been working with farmer organizations for a while that are specialized in the production of soybeans. And now this company is expanding its market and in need of more raw material. They therefore ask you to establish a partnership between them and the farmers. A big opportunity, but how do you go about it? How to form such partnerships? My name is Kees Peter van den Brink and I coordinate and train in iCRA's Making Agribusiness Work course. In this course, you'll be equipped with the coaching and facilitation skills that are required to form agribusiness partnerships and manage the relationships between farmers, their buyers and other actors along the chain. Input dealers, transporters, banks and others. You're most welcome to join us in this course and further shape your skill set and mindset when it comes to agribusiness partnership development. You'll get to practice a lot. We'll ask you to bring in your own field cases and to apply the coaching and facilitation skills that we bring in to the cases from your own professional context. We will make it as practical as possible.
Perfect, thank you. So that was just a brief introduction to Making Agribusiness Work. We have 2 more videos to show. The next one will be about making education work.
Hello and welcome to iCRA. Today I'm going to be talking about Making Education Work course. What's this? Are you looking for ways of motivating your students to participate actively in your courses? Or are you challenged to develop curricula that prepare competent graduates for the labor market or for even start their own business? Then this course helps you to create links with the labor market and match the demands of the private and public agricultural sectors. So this course is therefore aimed at professionals working in agricultural and rural higher education and related fields. It aims to provide practical methods and critical thinking on how to improve education programs. In this course, you will learn how to make your course and lessons as relevant as possible to your students' reality, linking learning to real-life challenges. You will also learn how to make your students practice the core of your lessons so that you prepare them to effectively face the challenges in their future jobs. Also, how to use your theory to support their practice. You will also learn how to start and deliver your lessons in such a way that you motivate your students to learn. Also, how to allow for more time for practice and interaction in the class, and how to assess your students in such a way that it's aligned with the competences that they will acquire throughout your course. So join us for a 2-week face-to-face learning program in the Netherlands in April 2024.
Perfect. So that was our colleague Sho, who coordinates making education work. And finally, we have a video from Mirta explaining making training work.
Are you an agribusiness professional who offers training as part of their job, or who would like to offer training? Then come join our course Making Training Work. It's a 1-week intensive course in which you learn how to create a training that creates real impact. So at the end of this course, you will have designed your own training session. You have created a powerful explanation. You know how to identify your client's needs and how to guide didactical discussions. Most of all, you know how to motivate your participants to apply what you teach them in their real life. So if you're interested in that, come check out the website for the exact dates and apply for this course. See you there.
Perfect. Can we go back to the presentation, Monica? Okay, so now I'll actually hand over to my colleagues Bianca and Helen, who are going to take you through the scholarship application procedure, how to apply, and then also share some tips on how to make a high quality scholarship application.
So yes, good afternoon from Bianca and Helen in the registration office. I'm going to walk you through some of the website and give you some tips on applying for an iCRA's scholarship. Actually, not an iCRA's scholarship, but a NUFIC OKP or MSP scholarship. As I'm speaking, you will hear me use lots of abbreviations. If you're not sure what they are, type it in the chat and one of my colleagues will be able to explain what they stand for. Monica, if you could stop sharing, then I will share my screen. Thank you. Here we go. Excuse me if I look a little bit to the right. I'm using two screens at once. So you will be able to find a lot of information on our website, www.icra.global. And here you have the opportunity to view other pages such as our courses and a very important page, our scholarship information page. On that scholarship information page, if I were to click on it, you will see that there are 3 or 4 steps to applying for a scholarship. You need to choose the right course for you. We have courses in English and courses in French, and these are the ones that we are offering during the current scholarship round. You need to apply before the deadline of the 5th of September at 4 p.m. in the afternoon European time. Okay, you then apply for the course via the iCRA website, which I will demonstrate in a minute, and then you need to actually apply for the scholarship via the NUFIC website, and that's where this deadline of the 5th of September is very important. The website becomes very busy just before the deadline, so be sure to apply sooner rather than later. Okay, let me have a think. So you may, for example, be interested in applying for making agribusiness work. It seems to be a very popular course today. We've noticed through the poll that many of you are interested in this. So you go to courses, making agribusiness work, and be sure to scroll down to read all the information that you need. You may, for example, want to know the price, which is further down this page. Okay. If you would like to apply for this course, you need to click on apply here. There are different sections of this course which the course coordinator, Kees Peter, will explain later. Okay, so for example, making agribusiness work executive for people who lead teams. It asks, first of all, which course you would be interested in applying for. For example, here, you click next, and you fill in all the sections that are required on our website and submit. The system will send you an auto reply. Let me just reduce this a little bit. The auto reply looks like this. Let me see if I can find it. This one. I'll just pull it across. The auto reply looks like this and gives you various links, such as the scholarship page again. Okay, so this is your registration to the iCRA website, where you're already filling in sections which will be quite handy for the NUFIC scholarship application. Before you apply for the scholarship, you need to prepare your documents. In order to know what you need to prepare, you need to scroll down on the scholarship page. And here there's lots of information and also, for example, the employer statement. It's important for you to have a scan of your passport, which is no larger than 4 megabytes, and that you fill in an employer statement together with your employer. We have this on the website. If you scroll down, let me have a look. Here are the 3 employer statements for the English courses. If you want to find the ones for the French ones, you need to change to the French language and go to the French scholarship page. So if I were to open the employer statement for making agribusiness work, it would look like this. This is a template, and you need to be careful not to change the format too much. It's in Word, so you can copy and paste it onto paper which has the logo or the letterhead of your employer. These are all steps towards making it look formal. It's important to supply accurate and comprehensive information and to show your motivation for joining the course. Each application for a scholarship will be assessed on that motivation. It's currently 2 pages long, but by the time you've filled it all in, it should be much longer, because this is the way to strengthen your application to submit a quality application. Here at the bottom, you can see they would like 50 to 1,000 characters on each of these points. The relevance for you as a candidate and the relevance for the organisation that you work for. They also want a plan of activities, how you will implement your learning within 6 months of attending the course, using the SMART method. You can just Google what SMART means: specific, measurable, etc. Okay, and if you don't submit a plan of how you are going to implement your learning, it's highly likely that your application is not successful. And like I said, certain details, either on the employer statement or on the NUFIC application page. One example is your employer's telephone number, are important. Sometimes we get feedback on why applications have been unsuccessful, and one reason that I have seen is that the organisation assessing your scholarship application tried to phone an employer, and they never picked up, or the phone number was invalid. And that was one reason for an unsuccessful application. So make sure you prepare and also supply accurate information. Even your email address needs to be just right, so that nothing bounces when we send out messages. Okay. Your employer statement needs a stamp by your employer. It needs to be signed and dated. So it looks formal and is clearly supported by your organisation. Okay. Some applications will require what's called an authority. Here on the scholarship page, you can click on a link about government authority statements. It doesn't apply to many countries, but it does apply to some. You need to just make sure you know whether you need to apply for that authority statement or not. It can take some time to receive the authority statement. So again, that you need to incorporate that within your application process. Take the time to prepare those documents now, sooner rather than later. So imagine you have scanned your passport. You know you don't need to submit an authority statement, and you have also prepared your employer statement. You need to click either on apply for OKP scholarship now and or MSP scholarship now. One tip is that if you are eligible to apply for an MSP scholarship, because you are actually one of the many countries within the MENA scholarship program, and you are under the age of 45, then apply for an MSP scholarship, but also apply for an OKP scholarship, because that increases your chances of success. In order to submit a quality application, you should also look at the country focus document. The country focus document looks like this and lists what is important for each country. And you will often see that food security, sustainability, those kind of topics are the ones that you need to highlight within your application, within your employer statement, but also within the boxes that you fill in on the NUFIC application page. The link to get you to the NUFIC application page is here. You need to click on apply for OKP scholarship now or apply for MSP scholarship now, and it will open a page that looks like this. It has the iCRA logo at the top, but you can see from the address that you are now on the NUFIC application page. And these are all the sections that you need to fill in, starting with the course that you're interested in. You can apply for more than one course, but if you apply for all of the courses, yes, it increases your chances, but the reason for you receiving a negative reply might be because you've given the impression that you're not sure where you would like to focus your attention. So if you scroll down and you've filled in all these sections, you need to write your motivation. And the word issue or problem is very important here. It's well worth actually preparing these sections in a Word document and copying and pasting your answer. Don't put the same answer in all three boxes. You need to vary them, but cover all those topics within the country focus document, which generally cover, for example, agriculture, sustainability, and food security. So we're now moving towards not just applying for a course, but actually creating a quality winning application. Like I said, the deadline for submission is the 5th of September at 4 p.m. European time, but the website gets super busy and we won't be able to help you if you're applying at 3:45 on the afternoon of the deadline. I think that's all from me, and I'm happy to answer questions within the chat together with my colleague Bianca.
Perfect. Thanks, Helen. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll share my screen because there's an animation, but we just have some brief top tips about how to make a quality application. My screen share is just loading, some of which are a repetition of what Helen shared, but I'll just share it once more. Is it working?
Yes, we can see it, Lauren. I think Lauren's just dropped out.
I'm back now. Is there anyone else who could share the PowerPoint version of our PowerPoint?
Let me do that, Lauren.
Thanks, Case Waiter.
I go and present the tips.
Yeah, that would be great.
Which slide number?
It is slide number 10.
One second, please.
Maybe in the meantime, Dr. Eunice is asking about what Helen said about the applications being busy towards the deadline. Go ahead.
Yes, so indeed, it gets very busy. We have had a situation in the last 2 hours before the deadline where the website has not coped with the number of applicants. You know, at the moment it's mid-July. Do apply during what we call our summer months. Apply during July and August rather than on the 5th of September before the deadline.
Perfect. So just before we start the Q&A section of this webinar, we've just got 9 or so quick tips for a more successful scholarship application. So the first one is to upload a valid passport, not other forms of ID or an invalid passport. The second one is to upload a high quality employer statement. And Helen described criteria such as that it should be signed and dated and also stamped or on letterheaded paper from your employer. The third one is to check if you're required to upload a government authority statement, and if so, have it signed and make sure you do. You can find a document which Helen directed you to on our website on the scholarship page, which describes which countries, what type of organizations need a government authority statement. Make sure you fulfill the criteria for the scholarship. So for example, make sure that it fits your work and your background, but also for the MSP scholarship specifically, as Helen mentioned, but it's very important, make sure you're under the age of 45, otherwise you will not be successful. Secondly, meet the deadline, and as Helen said, make sure that you try to apply as soon as possible to avoid any problems with the website. And the next one is, again, focus on your impact. So talk about your motivation, make sure it aligns with your country priorities, and discuss concretely how this course will help you have a positive impact in your country. And I think finally, stay connected to iCRA. We have a social media channels where we share tips and information, but also an email list, an email community where we regularly send free expert tips from our trainers, as well as information about these kind of opportunities and courses. So you can scan this QR code, but we'll also share a link to sign up for the mail list as well in the chat. And finally, make sure that you use our website and all of the resources that are available to help you. And you can find those on the scholarship page that Helen showed. Okay, and now it's time to answer any questions that you have. I can see there's some questions in the chat asking when are these iCRA courses beginning and ending? And we shared that in one of the earlier slides. They're all taking place somewhere between February and June 2024. Making training work is in May and making education work is in April. But you can find all of that information on our website or when you receive the recording of this webinar. And your second question was, is there making research work scholarship at iCRA this round? Unfortunately not. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are offering Booster la Recherche, excuse my pronunciation. We're offering the Making Research Work course in French this year, but it's not available in English for this round. Any other questions? Feel free to unmute and just ask us out loud as well.
I saw a question, Lauren, from Idika. She asked about the OKP and the plan of activities. What specifically is meant there? What you should fill in the plan of activities in the application form.
Can you give any insight on that, Helen?
Sorry, could you read the question again?
This is about the plan of activities in the OKP scholarship application. Lika is wondering what you should fill in there.
So it's your plan of how you are going to implement your learning. You may, for example, be running a course in your home country for other, what I call other people that could use the information that you have learned. And you could pass your learning on to other people who then use it within their business. I don't know if Kees Peter also has any tips there.
No, Nafik is very keen that whatever you acquire in terms of new skills, that you can apply it within your own working environment. And so they like to enlarge the impact beyond you to your colleagues, to your institution, to your organization. So that's why it's important why you also build up an argumentation that you're actually in a position to do so. So suppose you're a teacher, you can, and you do the making education work, you can explain how, through what activities will you use the course contents, the course tools and the skills that you will learn throughout the course, how, through what activities will you further disseminate these learnings and further share what you've learned.
So one example I can think of is that if you were to apply for Making Agriculture Work Executive, which is specific to you as a team leader, you could talk about how you will use the learnings from your course to motivate people within your team to take some of the topics, maybe the topic of food security or the topic of sustainability, how you will motivate them to remember and to implement things that you have learnt within the course.
Hope that answers that question. I see we also have a hand up from Yulashan. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong.
Oh, no. Hi, good evening.
Hi.
You correctly pronounced my name. That's pretty fine. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank you for organizing this brilliant session. A little bit I missed it. Now my question, I do have two questions. Is there any special criteria for people with a disability from, poor countries for the PhD or MPhil?
Are you talking there about physical or mental disability?
No, physical mobility disability.
Mhm.
I walk using a pair of crutches. And I taught for more than 22 years in Nepal. And now I'm looking for doing PhD from your country. Is it possible, or what shall I do? How can I contact whom to contact? This is what. Yeah, and luckily I got this chance to be part of your session. And I do have one more question. Is that, it's because of the disability in developing countries or poor countries, people, they don't study on time and they have to suffer. They are double marginalized people like me, disabled people. So in this context, and since these European countries are very liberal, humanitarian point of view also, do they consider in that context?
Yes,
so my question is to you.
Yeah, you are welcome to include it in your application. It may be favorable, it may be, it may help your application. If and when you received a positive decision for a scholarship application, then I would suggest that you would highlight your situation again with the registration office. And yes, we can definitely take you into account and help you along the way. Because we do have all sorts of applicants. We take into account, for example, with journeys, maybe obviously within the scholarship amount, but women, for example, are safe when they travel to our courses. So we do take people's situations into account.
Just to clarify, Jillasan, the courses that iCRA offers are short courses, not PhD programs. So for that, you will need to look for another institution, like, for example, Wageningen University. But indeed, you can apply for an iCRA course, surely even with your physical disabilities, sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your mate. Is there any possibility getting your email address or other things so that I can contact you people?
Yes,
I'll
put it in the chat.
There's a
Wonderful,
registration
Helen.
email address that
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you. So kind of. Thank you.
And I see Erika also has their hand up.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I really want to appreciate you for organizing this webinar. But my question is, on the OKP form, you will see plan of activities. Is there a special way you write it, or you just have your activity that you want and you write it like that? Please, could you enlighten me more on that?
You're muted, Helen.
Yeah, sorry. Which section of the NUFIC application are you talking about?
The last section in the OKP application, the one you shared, you saw plan of activities.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I'm asking, is there a special way to write it, or what is this all about? What's the activities you are writing? What is it all about?
Yes. So these are the activities that you plan in the 6 months after you have attended the course. What I recommend to you is that you look at the country focus document and you pick out words that you think are important to the Netherlands. Like I said, sustainability and food security. So what activities can you or people that you work with do in order to improve food security within your locality? It doesn't need to be on a country basis. that can be on a local scale.
All right, thank you so much. I now understand better.
Okay.
Great. I see we've also had a couple of questions about how long the NUFIC form should be. And Bianca did answer in the chat, but just to say out loud, there's a 4,000 character limit in the NUFIC form. So when you answer these questions, don't make it longer than that. But it's also good to explain clearly all the information you want to get across. And we had a question from Ignatius about countries that are removed from the scholarship eligibility list.
That's right. Yeah. So we don't have another form of scholarship, Ignatius, for your country in particular. I suggest that you search online or look for organizations with other courses where they provide another source of sponsorship. We can only follow the guidelines for the OKP and MSP scholarships, which includes the country list.
Great. Any other questions?
Maybe we can also briefly discuss what happens if you not get a scholarship. So if the scholarship is denied, and if you can still join the iCRA courses.
Only if you find an alternative way of financing. For example, your employer is willing to sponsor you, or another charity or organization, then you may still join the course. You will be invoiced in advance for the full amount of the course before you are submitted. Alternatively, you apply for a course in the next scholarship round. In 2023, there are only 2 scholarship rounds. This is the second scholarship round. So you would have to wait to see if and when there is a scholarship round for 2024.
Perfect. And also, yes, to confirm, you will all receive a recording of this webinar. We've had quite a few questions about that. Yes, a hand up. What's your question?
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My question is, I would like to ask, there was a time I applied for OKP scholarship, and I had to reapply. I had to reapply for the opportunity, but using the previous submission, which I worked on. But when they will reply me, they said it's actually a multiple, that I'm making a multiple submission. And that was on another year, not that same year. I'd like to ask, are we not, I mean, can't we repeat the question or the motivation or the application that we have done before? Thank you.
So,
do you understand my question?
Yes, I have understood what you're saying. So the multiple applications, I would say it's not a good idea in this round to apply, for example, for 6 different courses being offered by iCRA. Select 2, maybe 3 courses. You may use the wording that you have used in previous applications, but perhaps you need to think about why it was not successful last time. How could you improve it? You're also welcome to get in touch with us via the registration email. Perhaps we can look at your specific application and give you a couple more tips.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Then can we have a replay of this session, please?
Yes, that's going to be shared with you at the end of the recording.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Did we miss any in the chat? Maybe to clarify, a few people have been asking about the 45 age limit, age maximum. This only applies to the MSP scholarship, not the OKP scholarship. Although mid-career candidates might be still prioritized, but you're welcome to apply if you're above the age of 45 to the OKP scholarship.
So just to emphasize, it's not iCRA that decides on a negative or positive scholarship application. It's NUFIC that are the ones that, together with the embassies, assess the applications. So there's no situation where we can actually put a good word in for you. It's your application that gets assessed rather than our personal support of the application.
Maybe a good question, maybe Helen. What are typical reasons? Well, I think it's already been addressed. A lot of tips given, but what do you see as typical reasons of rejection of a scholarship application for NUFIC?
Yeah. So one is something that maybe you cannot do much about, is that there are a great deal of applications from your particular country. Obviously, the scholarships need to be spread out over the regions which are supported by the OKP and the MSP scholarship programs. It would not be right for NUFIC to support one particular country. So they like to see a variety of nationalities. They like to see a good representation of women, but that can be 50-50%, 50% women, 50% men in the course. Yeah, the reasons for a negative decision can vary. Like I said, one of them was once that they tried to phone the employer, weren't successful, and that was their reason for a negative reply. Another one is often that the employer statement was not sufficient, that there was no plan of action within the next 6 months as to how the person was going to implement their learning. So the employer statement should not be rushed. You really need to make sure that that is the best employer statement that you can submit.
Maybe another question for you, Helen, is it possible to have a scholarship for a second time around?
Yes, yes, it is. I can see plenty of names within this webinar of people that have attended recent iCRA face-to-face in the Netherlands, and you are most welcome to apply again. And yeah, we even see people 3-4 times, and you can then build up a good relationship with the trainer and with iCRA as an organization.
Great. Okay, we have 5 minutes left in this webinar, so it's getting to your last chance to ask a question. In fact, I see one more in the chat. Can one apply for OKP scholarship for more than one course in a round?
Yes, you may, but you have to fill in the application multiple times, once for each course, and I would recommend that you then vary the boxes, talking about the issue or the problem, relate it to specifically to the title of the course that you're applying for. So if you apply for making agribusiness work and making training work, make sure that some of the boxes that you fill in and your employer statement is slightly different, and then it doesn't look like you're just churning out applications in order to increase your chances.
Perfect. Thanks, Helen. And Rami has a hand up.
Yep. Thank you. I'm Rahmi from Indonesia. At the end of the application from OKP, we have to write down our action plan. My question is, do they assess our action plan? If yes, and how they assess it?
Good question. I mean, I don't know so much about their assessment criteria, but if you put yourself in their shoes, are you a good investment in terms of them covering the cost of your course? If your plan of action is only a couple of lines long and very general, compared to one that is quite specific, that highlights topics or words that are used within the country focus. It's very important in the Netherlands, for example, to promote the participation of women in society. And this is also something that NUFIC are trying to promote with these courses. So that is again another topic that you could include in your activities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, final call for questions. And in the meantime, the last thing that you should definitely do is follow the link which I'm sending in the chat, which will allow you to sign up to iCRA's email community. So we can share tips and advice with you, and also further opportunities. Felicia, you have a question?
Good afternoon. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity for the webinar. It's quite enlightening, and I can see most questions addressed have resolved some of the things I have on my mind also. I want to thank you very much. So see you if we are successful in our applications. Thanks.
Pleasure, and wishing you good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, we also have a question about why was I rejected, but as we said, NUFIC decides who receives a scholarship, not iCRA, so we can't say specifically for you why you were rejected, but follow the tips that we've shared with you today. If you haven't been doing any of the things Helen described, then try to improve your application in that way. Yeah.
I must say that making research work was very, very popular. It was oversubscribed, and that could just be the simple reason for receiving a negative. Or, like I said, it could be that there were many, many applications from your country or area. So nothing personal in those rejections, really.
No, just keep trying. All right, if there's no more questions, then we're going to end this webinar here. But as mentioned, feel free to send an email to registration@icra.global if you have any questions, and connect with us via email, community, and social media as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good luck, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tot
ziens.
Tot ziens.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
I am happy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next